What if I told you that the map of Africa, the countries, the borders, the lines we see today, wasn't drawn by Africans? What if I told you it was created in a room thousands of miles away, by people who had never even set foot in most of these lands? This is the story of how Africa was divided, how kingdoms were broken, how families were split, and how the echoes of those choices still shape the continent today. Welcome to Colonial Partition, How Africa Was Divided. The year was 1884. In Berlin, Germany, European leaders gathered in a grand hall. They weren't there to enjoy tea. They were there to cut up a continent like slices of cake. Britain, France, Portugal, Germany, Belgium, Italy, Spain, all wanted a piece. And none of them asked the people who actually lived there. This moment is known as the Berlin Conference. Imagine a family house being divided by strangers who have never lived there, who don't care who sleeps in which room, who don't know which door leads to the kitchen or the nursery. That was Africa, treated like a property to be shared, not a home full of people, languages, and traditions. Take Nigeria, for example. Before the British came, it wasn't a single country. It was a land of many nations, the Yoruba in the west, the Igbo in the east, the Hausa Fulani in the north, and countless other groups, each with their own systems of government, trade, and tradition. But in 1914, the British forced them together in what they called the amalgamation of Nigeria. Think about it, different peoples, with different languages and beliefs, suddenly told, you are now one country. No vote. No conversation. Just a signature. And the cracks from that decision still run deep today. Or look at Cameroon. Germany first claimed it, but after World War I, Britain and France split it between themselves. Imagine taking one child and saying, from today, you will live with this family, and the other sibling, you will live with that one. French Cameroon developed one way, British Cameroon another. And when independence finally came, the scars of division remained. To this day, Cameroon faces tension between its English-speaking and French-speaking regions. And then there was South Africa. Colonized first by the Dutch, later taken by the British. But the worst came in 1948 when apartheid, official racial segregation, was written into law. Black South Africans, the majority, were forced to live in certain areas, denied political power, and treated as strangers in their own land. Nelson Mandela and countless others fought for decades to break that system. And though apartheid ended in 1994, its shadows still linger in inequality today. But it wasn't just Nigeria, Cameroon, or South Africa. Across the continent, borders ignored history. In East Africa, the Maasai people found themselves split between Kenya and Tanzania. In the north, the Tuareg were divided across Mali, Niger, Algeria, and Libya. Families were separated. Trade routes were broken. Entire ways of life were disrupted, all because of lines on a map drawn by outsiders. And yet, despite this, African societies resisted. Some fought with weapons, others with diplomacy, others by holding on to culture and tradition. Ethiopia defeated Italy at the Battle of Adwa in 1896, standing tall as a symbol of resistance. Liberia, founded by freed slaves from America, became a beacon of independence when most of Africa was under foreign control. So here's the big question: what happens when a continent's borders are not drawn by its people? The answer is complicated. Yes, it led to conflict, civil wars, ethnic clashes, instability. But it also led to resilience. To movements for freedom. To leaders like Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana, Julius Nyerere in Tanzania, Patrice Lumumba in Congo, Nelson Mandela in South Africa. Leaders who dreamed of an Africa that could heal itself from the wounds of partition. The story of Africa's colonial partition is not just about the past, it's about today. Every border on the map, every language spoken, every struggle for unity is tied to that moment in Berlin, when a continent was sliced apart. But here's the thing, Africa is not defined by those lines. From Lagos to Nairobi, from Cape Town to Cairo, the spirit of unity and resilience is stronger than any border. So the next time you look at a map of Africa, remember this: those lines were drawn by outsiders, but the stories, the struggles, and the triumphs inside those lines belong to Africans, and always will.